Alright, so we're going to be making a mesmerizing spiral, a little meme type thing, and we're going to be using After Effects for this. So the first thing I want you to do is click on New Composition. So I'm going to click New Composition. I'm going to title it Mesmerizing Spiral, and then I'm going to put my initials, 24 frames per second. And 10 seconds is fine. If you want to change the background color, you can change it to any color you like. And we're going to click OK. We want it 1080 square. So click OK. Next thing I want to do is I'm going to set up my grid. So if I come down here to the bottom and I click on grids, I have a pretty tight grid. I'm just going to loosen this up a little bit. So I'm going to go to my preferences. It might be under File for you at the bottom, or Edit. On the Mac, it's under the After Effects right here. I'm going to say Guides and Grids. And I'm going to just change this. Let's go with 200 pixels. Alright, and click OK. So it's a little bit looser. After that, what I want to do is I want to get my pen tool. And what we're going to do is we're going to start creating our mesmerizing shapes. So I'm going to use my grid to kind of keep track of how many things I'm doing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And it's up to you how you want to do it. I'm going to change my colors here. So a nice blue looks good. I'm going to take off the stroke. So I left clicked on stroke, and I'm just going to change that to none. And for my gradient, I'm going to go to my move tool. And this is your gradient adjuster right here. So I'm just going to put the blue at the back of this one. And come down here, and I'm going to click away. I'm going to make another shape. It's up to you how many you want to make. And again, I'm going to adjust my gradient. So this one's going to be in the front, extend to the back. I'm going to make some smaller ones. And this shape, as you can see, it's not a perfect one. But I wanted to have an alternate shape in there. And I'm going to change the colors. So this blue, I'm going to go with a green color and a white. And oops. So I'm going to adjust my slider again. A little bit of green at the beginning, a little bit of white. And you can do other kinds of things. I'm going to do a curve. I'm going to take off my hold down Alt key to bend this. And I'm just going to so we'll see how that one comes out. Actually, let me do it again because I don't want it to be on the same layer as the other one. So hold down my Alt key, or if you're on a Mac, it's Option. So that looks pretty good. Alright, so I have some shapes. Let me adjust the gradient on that one as well. There will be a little bit of cross gradient on that. So you can make as many shapes as you like. Maybe do one more. I have a long tail on this one. And loosely using my grid. Alright, so I have all my shapes. And next thing I want to do is I'm going to group these together. Well, actually, before I group them together, let me add my wave warp. So I'm going to click Effects panel, I'm going to type wave, and go to wave warp. And I'm going to drag out my wave warp onto my first layer. And you can adjust the wave height. So this one I want it to be a loose swirl. And I'm going to click on the next one. I'm going to do wave warp for that one. Sawtooth looks nice. And you can play with the waves that you want. And then click on the next one. Add a wave warp to this. I think Sign looks one of the better ones. So that's a big curve. You can make them loose or wide, however you want. So I'm just doing this for every layer. I'm adding a wave warp to it. Alright, so I got my wave warps, and next thing I want to do, I'm going to select all my layers. And what I'm going to do is I want to group them together. So to group them together, I'm going to do precompose. So right click, and I'm going to go down here to precompose and group them together. Call it worm. And click OK. So I have my worm, and you can see it's all grouped into one group. What I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this, because what I want to do is I want to make it into a spiral. So Control D or Command D. And I'm going to do it 12 times. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12. Alright, so now I have all my things grouped. Now what I want to do is I want to resize this, but I want to resize it as a group. So I have my worm layer. What I want to do is I want to duplicate this. So before I duplicate this, I'm going to drag this off the page. And I'm going to set my rotation point. So I hit my Y key, gives you my anchor point tool. And I'm going to drag the anchor point to the approximate center of the page, just like right here. Alright, now I'm going to duplicate my worm 12 times, so Command D. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Oops. 12 times. And with my rotation point now, I'm going to rotate it around. So one, click on the next one. Rotate it. I'm just going all the way around. As you can see for mine, I didn't need 12, I only did 8. So I'm just going to delete the other ones. Oops. 9, I guess I did. So let me delete 10 through 12 and delete them. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is to create a null layer. So I'm going to make sure no layers are selected. I'm going to right click, say new null object. Null object just means there's nothing in that layer. And I'm going to find my center, my visual center, which is right here. Click Y for my anchor point, and I'm going to put that anchor point right in the middle of the page. Right, now click away, and I'm going to click on my worm 1 layer, hold down shift and click on my worm 10 layer. So I have all layers selected, and I'm going to go over here to parent and linking and change it to null 1. So I've linked all my layers to this null object. The reason I did that is so on my null object, which I select my null object, I can now resize it. So I'm just going to click on my move tool and resize, holding shift, resize my design. Alright, and I'm going to click on that null layer. So I'm going to move it down a little bit so that I have space at the top of my page for my viewer. Alright, so I've moved my viewer bar down, so now so I can see how it looks, and I don't have to wait 10 seconds for it to load. So what my design is looking like right now. I'm going to do a few more things. I want to start adding some other things to this design. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click away, and I'm going to go to my pen tool. What I want, I'm going to change my stroke. Black stroke is fine. 13 pixels. We'll see how that looks. And I'm going to change my fill color. Let's go with a red to a purple color. And I'm going to create a line going across. So from here to here.